So this is the second part of our um, video lesson about bishop e3 line. As I said in the previous chapter, this is a most dangerous and the most ambitious line for white. So I want to focus in this video first of all on my own experience once again, and also I will show you the main line, and I will summarize what to do, how to play with black. Okay, a6, queen d2, b5. So once again in my game, this was yeah, f3. So, and this was my game against young girl, chess player, and I lost this game. Okay, so when I played this game, as I told in the previous video, I didn't know modern defense. Uh, I had no knowledge. I had no practical experience, and I played e6. But also, so there are some nuances, of course, against h5, against h4. Very interesting knight gf6. We will cover this move more deeply later. The idea is just to stop this h5, and against g4, this is the most principal move. Here, black has to play h6 with the idea again to take on g5, and now this is impossible move because the rook is flanking. So and after bishop g5, white's pawn structure is terrible, and the king is still on e8, so I think that black has a comfortable position here. Okay. So also I want to say now that the position after, yeah, that there is a interesting nuance here, that bishop b7 also interesting, because against h4 now knight f6, and against g4 in this position black has h5. Very interesting idea. So the knight is on b8, and this factor favors black side, because black has knight at d7 move. Knight at d7, and this is very important. Then c5. The idea, I think that this is interesting. Okay, so knight d7, h4, h5. So h5 is knight h3, bishop b7, knight g5. Yes, and in the game I played e6, and this is a not good move. Better was knight gf6, and if white continue the development like it was in my game, black has a good position after c6, short castle, and a5. So okay, I mentioned this in the previous video. So, okay, but here is the problem, that white has a very strong option long castle, and this is a principal line. This is a critical position of the whole line. So Mm. And it's not easy for black. White has dangerous ideas here. Okay. Um, so and this is and in my game I played e6 here and queen e7. I think this is not so bad. e5, yeah, and here d5 is very strong, and against c6, c4. And the problem that this but maybe it's not so bad position. But in the game I didn't understand the position. I thought that I had a big advantage, and why the opponent is very weak and close to winning. Okay, and I lost this game, but my opponent played quite good this game. For example, in this position, she uh, she find a very strong maneuver bishop d1 with the intention to play bishop b3 and what to do with this pawn. So she played very good this game, and I was very bad in this game. Uh, okay, and the second game was also very interesting. I played this game, I think, 4 years after the previous game, and it was the opponent was quite strong, mm, some master feeder, I think, and um, and in this position, uh, he he made very tricky move, bishop d3. So what to do? And in the game, and I see I played bishop b7. And I think and this is a mistake. This is a mistake. This is a not. This is and now and now this is against bishop b7. There is a very good idea to attack this pawn, and now the problem that there is no c5 because the knight is on b8, and and this is the idea of this move. So against this move we have to play knight d7, and now e4 is not a dangerous idea because again we have c5, and here I think even knight c5 is with good compensation. But okay, but there is nothing wrong with d takes e5. Okay, bishop bishop d3, bishop b7. My opponent played a4, but okay, but this line is tricky, and white want to get some positional advantage, but positional advantage it's not uh, the great fear for black in modern defense, and for this reason the position is not so bad. So after following moves, um, we gain this position, and my opponent went for h6. Also, I think that I had to play h5 first, or maybe c5 immediately. But okay, but the whole this position is not so dangerous. Okay, this is quite tricky idea, but not ambitious, and maybe white has some uh, chances to get positional advantage. But in general, this is not very dangerous line. But in the game I played very very bad and shot castle. Okay, I think that it's not a big mistake, but according to computer, but from human point of view, uh, this is not flexible move. And for modern defense, more flexible is just to wait for castle, for white's castle, and uh, after white's castle, uh, black king. So we can we can make castle 2, and this is a very important moment. This is very typical for modern defense. So black wait for uh, white's idea, and black is waiting for white setup. So and short castle, it's not a big mistake. I want to repeat, but it's not in the spirit of this opening. Okay, bishop h6 c5 is a good move. This move is in the spirit of this opening. C3 and now e6. So once again, this move is not in the spirit of this opening, and I think that black has to play something like bishop e6, or maybe I don't know, first just to take b takes, c takes, and then bishop e6. Um, and black should be okay. In the game I played e6, h4, and even here the position is not so bad, and b takes c6, and again something like bishop e6, then try to exchange these bishops, and then rook b8, and so the with the idea to um, create some counterplay on this part of the board. So, but in the game I played e6, rook e8, just very non waiting move, but waiting move is not good strategy in this opening. And after this, there's a terrible attack for white, and very soon white has a winning position. It has a winning position, and they white totally dominated on their on both sides of the board. So this bishop on b5, and also the attack on the h file. So and it's totally winning. I was lucky at this day because I won this game, but okay, but I had totally losing position. Okay, and the second game I played a few weeks later after this game. And I was lucky, so I played yeah, yeah, I made this 97. Yeah, so I improved my game, and I played 97. But against f3, it makes sense to go for bishop b7, because again this move we have h4, we have knight f6, g4, h5, g5, knight f7. Try to remember this, because this is a very useful information, and we can utilize this variation later, and these ideas in our future analysis. Okay, f3, knight d7, knight g2, c6, e4. Yes, this game I played against quite strong opponent. During this game, he was young, quite young, and he had a small elo near 2300. Okay, it's not so small, of course, but for me it was quite small. And but now this guy has I think 2500. He's GM, so he was quite talented young player. But the problem that he went for this solid setup with knight g2, c6, a4, knight c1, knight gf6, bishop e2, and short castle. And for me, I like positional chess. Um, I like slow game, and so I was like this, and I won this game. So, and this type of position is close to uh, Samish variation of King's Indian, but the pawn is on c2, and this type of structures, um, these types of structures are very so this type of structures are very so. Uh, I know this type of structures, and I felt quite comfortable during the game, and then I 95 c3, b takes c3, b takes c3. Yes, and black has already comfortable position, and then I won the game. So I so this is but okay, but the whole um, okay, we will analyze this game in our future videos. But here it's clear that black has a quite comfortable game, and there is no this strong attack, and so it's quite easy for me to play game. Maybe for some, I don't know, for some club players, it's this position is more difficult, but for me it was okay, and I won this game. Uh, okay, and so um, but now we can um, so now I want to return to the main line and to understand what to do. So um, the main setup is like this: h4, h5, knight h3, bishop b7, knight g5. This is the main setup of this line. And here, okay, the main problem for white, for black nowadays here, that mm, with strong computer preparation, this position is very dangerous against if you play this position against well-prepared chess player who's analyze this position for 2 hours with computer. It's stockfish. It's very dangerous. But okay, but we try what to do even against such player. But I think that against such player, it's better not to go for this position and to and try to um, try to go for some other lines. For example, try to okay. For example, first this is bishop d7 is interesting idea, and against h4, knight f6. Yeah. The second idea is knight d7, h5. Also, so also I want to say also about um, move order is very important. For example, here if white goes for h4, very good move knight f6 here. For example, f3, bishop b7, yeah, f3. And here is bishop h4, but I think that this is not enough. This is not enough for knight b7, then c5, and it's not dangerous. Okay, so white wait for short castle, but of course no. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, sorry, so bishop b7 is a bad move. No, h5 here is very important move, that h5. And we wait for knight h3, and here is very important if we, in this, for this line, this is very important idea to trade this bishop. So, and black has very comfortable counterplay in this position. So with two knights, it is very important. So this is quite similar to Austrian attack, the main line with bishop d3 and knight e6. So the idea that this knight is very strong, this is very strong attacking piece, and we have to um, so we have to destroy this piece. Yes, and here knight bd7, for example. So it was met in the game of um, Antoinette Stefanova against Deolita Diamante, so some wood. Yes, and black has very comfortable queen c7, then knight b6, knight fd7, before c5, and it's very good game for black. So, but this is very important idea. You have to remember this. Uh, okay, and the main line once again, the critical position. Yes, and here the black has two options: knight gf6 and rook c8. And also, I think interesting queen c8 now. Not rook c8, queen c8. Okay, but the problem that rook c8 very black has very strong idea, long castle. So this is idea c5. This is idea behind this move. But now the problem that very strong these computers novelty 5 and after this move e6. Yes, and the problem that this move doesn't work, and this is a terrible position. There is knight e6, and this is yes, and the main line here is f takes e6, bishop takes e5, bishop e3, and now again knight f after this move. Black has to resign because after this there is queen d5 check, and it's terrible again. Very strong attack. Okay, yeah, the whole. So I will show you the whole variation. Sorry, bishop b5. Yes, here, and now this move. Yes, it's quite difficult for human, even for GM, to find this attack with e5, but for computer it's quite easy. Yes, and here queen g7 is position is terrible. So rook, so then we take this rook h8. Okay. Yes, and this is a very important moment. And the other line, knight gf6. Yes, and here again, long castle. And here again, the position is very dangerous uh, for for black. For example, short castle. Here g4 is very dangerous. Checkmate. So it's always the same problem. And after this move, yes, and after yes, queen c8 is interesting idea, but again, so we have a3, c5. So, okay, it's playable, but it's possible to play, but you have to know that the whole this position is very dangerous, and this we have always this idea to play knight d5, then bishop e2, g4 always, and against castle this bishop e2 and then g4. This idea works very well for white here, and the whole this line is okay. Black's only idea is to play e5 and rook d8. But there is no time for this, for example this, or maybe here there is knight d5. So yes, it seems like this position with knight g5 and long castle is very dangerous, and we have to avoid this line. So for this reason I like this. Okay, also um, playable. And this bishop b7, and here is once again this position e6 is playable continuation for black, but black is worse in this position. So of course we can play like this in such style, and but again here it's not easy to play c5 because against c5 there is d takes c5, and the position is very dangerous. Also there is a very bad, un very unpleasant for black is 92, 94, and then to sacrifice on d6, e6, something like this. So also this bishop h3 idea. Okay, it's playable, but black is worse in this position. It's not losing position, but it's but against the principal move c5, black is in trouble, and you have good chances to lose the game uh, after direct attack with g4. So very interesting idea also for black. I like this knight gf6. Yeah, g4, h6. Yeah, g5 is very bad idea, and for this reason the strongest, yeah, this long castle, bishop. Yeah, and here this position is interesting. Knight b6, for example, or maybe this always met with this move, and then and this queen is check with very important also idea. Knight b6, knight g2. Yes, knight g2 is very strong. Knight c4 and it is almost winning position, because without this bishop, this trading is favors black's position. And also you have to know that this idea g5 is very good for black. Yeah, this position is also playable and good. So I like this idea with h6. And also I like some side lines, so just to idea something like knight f6, some tricks, and for example this, we wait for this knight h3 and then take. And I'm afraid of the main line with this bishop. This is the main line. This I'm afraid of this position. I think that this is um, easy to, if you, it's quite easy for white to prepare again this position. And I think that for black, it is better to avoid this position. This is my opinion. So I think that this position, this is what we have to afraid in modern defense. And also very interesting here, it may be, but this is my novelty. I'm not sure about it, but this is interesting. c6. This is my idea. Knight g4. So now I want to go for the c6 line. So this line we will analyze in the next video. c6. Yes, no, not bishop b7, but c6 with this bishop on c8, knight g5, queen c7. This is interesting. I think this is interesting. Now we wait for this not short castle. I want to say no long castle, and I think that this is quite interesting. Maybe now knight b6 or probably knight f6. We have to analyze this. So the idea is to transpose to this c6 line, and we will cover this line in the future. And in this, again, this line, it's better for, so I want to say this, okay, so in this, again, this line c6, so this b5, it's better to not to go for long castle. So now this idea is not dangerous. So, but we will cover this in the next videos. And but now I want to so finally a few words. So the conclusion that this line is very dangerous for black. Of course, bad move is knight f6 immediately, but it makes sense to go for knight f6 later. For example, in this position, something like this. What else? Also very important that this idea, knight f6. So you have to remember that this exchange is very useful for black. It favors black side. And what else? What else? And also the main line. This h5, I think, is a little bit dangerous, this line. I think that it's better not to play this line. But okay, but if you receive this the idea with queen c8, maybe here immediately or maybe later, or maybe to find some ideas with just waiting move c6. And very important, not to go for short castle, because if you go for short castle, if you the g4 is works very well for white.